Hmm, people, get in here. This story is hot. This lady is definitely on the list of the most understood women in the Bible. Even when I remember her, it's a mixture of pity and judgment. She's one of those women that you would definitely not put in your most study list or most study list for inspiration. If I were honest, I would say, even I cannot study Gomer for what? When there is Queen Esther, there's Mary, the mother of Jesus. Why would I study Gomer? And I kept wrestling in my mind when her name came because I was wondering, what is the tea that we want to learn from this woman? And Abba said, just like we would always say, he said, our story is one of redemption. At first I balked. Redemption? Isn't Gomer the poster child for unfaithfulness? The woman who couldn't stay in one place, who kept running back and running forth from one lover to another, and they couldn't even satisfy her. But I sat with it. And then I began to see a thread, yes, a thread of a golden, unbreakable love of God running through her. And suddenly, Gomer wasn't just that woman anymore. She became a mirror. Imagine her, this young woman growing up in a culture where love was transactional and value was measured by how much you could give or take. Maybe she learned early that the world wasn't safe for women like her. Maybe she believed the whispers that she wasn't worth so much. So she might as well make a living out of being, unwanted and being an outcast. Then Hosea comes along, a man of God, no less. I imagine Gomer would have said, you want to taint your garment, and God told Hosea to marry her. Did she laugh when he showed up talking about vows, covenant, and love? Or did she cry because deep down she wanted those things but couldn't believe that they were for her? Either way, she said yes. But the patterns of her past didn't disappear overnight. How could they, when shame and fear had been her constant companions for so long? She left him more than once, the Bible says, and each time Hosea went after her. Can you see him walking through the streets, asking the neighbors if they had seen Gomer, if they had seen her, paying off debts that she racked up, not because he owed them, but because she was his and he couldn't leave her to the mess she had made. Imagine if you were Hosea's mother. What would you say? What would you have said to him? He wasn't just a man chasing his wife, he was a picture of God chasing us, a picture of how far love will go, even when we run in the opposite direction. And what about Gomer? Did she feel relief when Hosea found her? Or did she feel unworthy of his pursuit? Maybe both. But here's the thing that gets me. She was loved, period. Not because she earned it, but because she was chosen. Hosea's love for her wasn't dependent on her behavior, it was rooted in the covenant that he had made. We don't know the end of Gomer's story for sure, but I'd like to think that eventually the love Hosea showed her started to change her. Maybe she stopped running. Maybe she learned to live in the safety of being chosen. Because isn't that what redemption does? It takes us from being defined by our past and gives us a name, a new name at that, a new identity. Gomer's story isn't just hers, it's ours. Yes, you heard me right. It's ours. We are all prone to wonder, all tempted to believe that the love of God couldn't possibly stretch to cover our mess. But it does. Over and over again, it comes for us. And when we finally stop running, we find that His love is the kind that transforms us from inside out. That's a beautiful thing to hear and feel, definitely, of the depth of God's love. So, join me again on another episode where I spill the tea about another lady and the lessons to learn from her. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.